Hi, so I just made a video about sort of what I believe, my worldview, so to speak, and I watched it through and I realized there were some things that I left out. And I figured instead of just making the whole video over again and probably leaving other things out and ending up doing the video a million times and still not being perfectly happy. Sorry, I don't have a tripod, and I've had this way of setting up the phone that I've been using a lot, and it's been working fine, but now suddenly it decided to not work anymore. And I hope it stays standing now. Anyway, yeah, where to begin? As I said, I think I view the world as sort of being the same, the material world being the same as spirit. I don't make that distinction between spirit and the material world. For me, they're the same. There's no difference. And so we of course have spirit in us, because this is spirit. Our bodies are spirit. And I also touched on me being polytheist, and I thought that might be a bit confusing, because I also believe in the gods being immanent in the world. Hang on. So I thought that might be a bit confusing, how I could look at the gods being immanent and at the same time spirit being immanent. And I think I look at it as being sort of like different levels. The gods obviously are also spirit. They're like just different ways that spirit is manifesting. Like spirit manifests in humans, spirit manifests in trees, spirit manifests in gods, right? Gods are just another class of beings, so to speak. They have like a different niche in the greater scheme of things compared to humans, and their sort of niche is sort of like the underlying matrix or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but they are these phenomena. They are love, they are fertility, they are the sun, and so on and so forth. And so we have these things in us also, of course. And it's like saying that we have atoms in us. Our bodies are atoms, but it's also correct to say that our bodies are neutrons and electrons and protons. In the same way, it's right to say that our bodies are spirit, but our bodies are also gods. It's just like different levels. Like our bodies are made up of molecules that are in turn made up of atoms that are in turn made up of subatomic particles, and that in the end of the day seems to be just little bundles of energy. And in the same way, we are spirits, but we also have the gods immanent in us and in the world around us. And sort of that's how I ended up in this very nature-based kind of paganism and very nature-based kind of spirituality, because when this is spirit, when the material world is spirit, and when the gods are immanent in the material world, then the material world becomes sacred. Then nature becomes sacred, the sun becomes sacred, earth becomes sacred, the moon, the sea, things like fertility and love and evolution, all these things become sacred because they are divine. And I also wanted to make another point, that is, like, though I see everything is spirit and the material world is the same as spirit, and I see obviously then everything as a sort of a greater whole, a unity, and everything that we can perceive is part of that unity. But some spiritual traditions tend to see that as like the ego and the individual is an illusion and something that we should try to ignore, and something that we should try to rise above, because it's not real, it's not who we really are. And I don't really see it that way. I think there's a reason why we are spirit manifested in this particular way, in a way where we perceive ourselves as individuals, where we perceive the world around us as somewhat separate from us. Not entirely, because if we look at it scientifically, as I talked in my previous videos, there is a lot of exchange going on. We are not really separate, but we still sort of perceive ourselves as separate. We perceive the world as something that contains a lot of different individuals, individual trees, individual birds, individual human beings. And I think there's a reason for that, and I don't think the reason is that we should try to sort of go beyond and ignore that. I think the reason we are perceiving the world in this way is that this is something that we should embrace and operate within. The experience of being an individual among other individuals is something that we need to embrace. And I'm not saying that we should let our sort of egos run completely amok and focus solely on ourselves and not care about anyone else. It's more like we need to learn to relate to the world and operate within a world as individuals together with other individuals, and not view ourselves as we're all the same and we're all one, but actually view ourselves as individuals, but as individuals who need to relate in a useful and constructive and healthy way to other individuals. Yeah, I'm not sure if this makes much more sense. I hope it did. I'll probably keep pondering this for a long time. But I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you did. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.